Hello everyone, my name is Jasprit Kaur. I'm a CMA from Lovely Professional University. Today I'm going to talk about one of the leading theories of learning, that is operant conditioning. This operant conditioning is given by B.F. Skinner. This operant conditioning theory is also known as stimulus response theory with reinforcement, contingency of reinforcement theory, instrumental conditioning theory, response type conditioning, and reinforcement theory. Now, what is the stimulus response theory with reinforcement, and why, how it is different from classical conditioning? We are going to discuss that thing in this video. First of all, we need to understand that what these terms operant and operant conditioning means. If I talk about operant, operant means an operant is a set of acts that constitute some action of organism. Now, operant means whenever there is actions required, set of actions are required by an organism. And if I talk about operant conditioning, learning in which behavior is strengthened and followed by reinforcement and weakened followed by punishment. Now let us understand this operant and operant conditioning with one of the famous example which we have, that we all have a habit that we will not eat green vegetables. When we are kids, we say that we don't want to eat that green vegetables. We don't want to eat spinach. We don't like capsicum. And they say that EU this green vegetables. Now, what will happen at that time? Our parents, they give us reinforcement that okay, if you will finish this, I will give you an ice cream. If you will eat this, then I will be giving. We will go to the park and we will play together. Now, what is this? This is a reinforcement only. Now, parents are making us eat that vegetable, and for that what they are doing, they are giving us a reinforcement, and due to that the behavior of eating green vegetable is inculcated or conditioned in our mind, that okay, now we are going to eat the vegetable because green vegetable, because we will get the ice cream. Now what will be there every time when we are it will be like this only, that we are eating green vegetable and we are getting ice cream, then it will become our habitual that we are able to eat the green vegetables, and we will not say that okay. And even when we don't need that stimulus, or you can say that ice cream, so that we can eat the green vegetables. So now what happen is here, the reinforcement is provided, and due to that there is a positive change, and sometime we have a punishment also that weakens that behavior. Now what happen if student is having a habit of, if a child, not a student, if we talk about in the child also, when he do the mischief in the home and sometimes say a bad word, any bad word he or she can use which he has learned from his or her environment. So what happens at that time, parents scold them. They just say that okay, we will put you in a uh, black room where there will be a mouse, there will be a spider, lizard, and you will be there, and I will leave you forever. So this types of threatening, scolding things are there, and due to that you using of that bad word will be gone. So by the punishment also, a behavior is modified. Now, what we have learned, there are two aspects of this theory. A reinforcement. The reinforcement can be positive, it can be an incentive, it can be a punishment. So, what is basically operant conditioning is a process of behavior modification in which the likelihood of a specific behavior is increased or decreased through positive or negative reinforcement each time the behavior exhibited, so that the subjects come to associate the pleasure or displeasure of the reinforcement with the behavior. Now, in the classical conditioning theory, we have a conditioned stimulus, conditioned response. Here, we have a reinforcement, positive and negative reinforcement, which leads to behavior modification. Now, this reinforcement can be anything. It can be positive, it can be negative. Negative in the sense we can say that it can be a punishment, or it can be something which we don't like, right? So this is, if we talk about the operant conditioning theory, there is an one experiment which B.F. Skinner have this Skinner box. He has done the experiment with the help of this box, and we called it that Skinner box, or we call it operant chamber. Now, what is the feature of this all? Soundproof chamber with a bar or key that an animal can manipulate to obtain food or water reinforcer, contains a device to record responses. Now, what happened is B.F. Skinner, what he has done, he had created a small box. You can see in the image that there is a box, and in that box there is a rat. Now, there is a food container also. Now, what happened is, in the food container there is a food, and linked to that there is a box. In that, rat is there and one switch is there. Now, what happened here is, whenever he will just press that lever, the pallet dispenser, what it will do, it will signal a light and the food will come out. Now, what happen is, there is a red light and green light, right? Now, what happened here, whenever the lever will be pressed, the food will come out, but due to the light, that green light will come or red light will come, there will be a shock generator also. Now, why this type of theory he has, why he has done this rat one, and why he has put it that electric shock in that box, so that the rat will be, whenever he is pressing, then he will be getting a shock also and a food also. Now, every time, whenever in our daily life, there is always a shaping, chaining, generalization exist when we talk about the behavior. Now, this behavioral pattern associated with operant conditioning theory are shaping. Shaping means it is a technique for training individuals to learn difficult and complex behavior. This is done building a chain of responses through step-by-step process called shaping. Now, in the if I will talk about that rat only, what is happening every time he is pressing the button, when there is a green light, he is getting a food. Whenever there is a red light and he is pressing that button, what happen? He is getting electric shock. Now, what happen is, now he knows that whenever the red light is there, I should not press that button because I will get the current. And if the green light will be there, then I will get the food. Now what he will do? He will do 2-3 times the same mistake, that he will be pressing the button to get the food whenever there is a red light. So he will get the shock. But slowly he will be able to understand, that rat will be able to understand, and the behavior, that shaping will be done. Chaining refers to process in shaping the behavior of a learning task. Task is broken in small parts and subsequent reinforcement. Now, this entire process, that whenever that rat will be pressing that lever and food will come, this is a simple task. But here he has made a chain. B.F. Skinner has made a chain, and due to that, there is a process in shaping the behavior of a learning task. Generalization, it refers to the ability of the organism dealing with the similar stimuli. Extension, it consists simply with holding the reinforcer when the appropriate response occur. Now, what will happen? For 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, the rat will be getting a shock, and after that, what happened? He will be able to understand, okay, when there is a green light, then only I should press the lever. And what happened? Every time there will be a green light, he will be pressing the lever at that time only, and he will be getting the food from that pallet. So this type of behavior is observed in the human as well. If I talk about in the children's or in a student, you have seen that whenever they are at the peak of their success, what happened? They are do their best, and They just want that, okay, I will achieve anything right now, I can do that. And they have a motivation and a skill, and they are doing it because their mind is what they have now understood that, okay, I have the ability to understand. I have the ability to transform myself according to the situation. And this thing is only happened because of the life experiences we have, the things which are happened with us. Due to that, a behavior of modification is there. Even whenever you make friends, sometimes when you are young you make lots of friends, and sometimes you make good friends and bad friends, and there will be a lessons from that friends also. So what happens, you got a with the friends only you have a positive experience, with the friend only you have a negative experience. When you get old, you have a different perspective for choosing the friend. Earlier you used to make a friend with everyone, but when you grow old or you reach to the 20 or 25 or 30s, what happened? At that time you feel like, no, there will be even I few one or two friends are okay with me because this are fine. Now why? Because we have now, due to that positive and negative experience we have with that friends, our mind is conditioned that, okay, if this will be there, the friend will react in them. Now let's talk about the reinforcement. Now there are antecedents, consequences, and effect. Antecedent behavior, consequences, effect. Now what is happening here? I will give you one example here, that you are purchasing something online, any dress or something you have purchased. Now what happened, you have purchased and you have found that that dress is little bit torn, or maybe it is not up to the mark. What happened, you will lose the faith that online shopping is good, because you feel that every time, this time I have ordered, I have spent lots of money, and due to that, um, I'm not able to, get the perfect one dress which I want. Now there will be one thing, you will be having a negative impact, negative one, that, okay, this it happens with me. And then suddenly what happened, you have seen there is a return policy, that, okay, you can return, like other uh, shopping websites, they have the return policy. You can return the product if it is damaged before, from the company only. And then what happened, you return it. Then now what happened is there, what happening is that you are now happy that, okay, it means that if any type of dress I have purchased, if there is any uh, problem with that dress, you can replace it. And due to that, there is a behavior that, okay, now I can go for the online shopping without any fear that, okay, I can replace if the product is not appropriate. It happens with us also, that even if with the books also, sometimes you have ordered one book, and you have ordered one book of specific edition that you want 2021 edition, but by mistake they have sent you 2020 edition. Now you can replace that, I don't want that previous edition because some topics are deleted. Now, if this thing is there, that means that your behavior is strengthened, that, okay, that we have a return policy, so whatever we purchase, we can return it. So when a consequence strengthens the behavior is addition to stimulus, positive reinforcement will be there. Example, dress producing compliments, falling from chair producing cheer and laughter. Now, every time what happens is, whenever you are wearing a beautiful dress, you are getting a compliment. It will strengthen your behavior, and it will be act as a reinforcer, that every if I will wear a good dress, I will be getting a compliment. If sometimes someone falling from chair, and he's getting attention, to grab the attention, maybe he or she can do the same thing again and again, and he will be getting the attention, because sometimes students actually do this to get the attention. They will be, even the grown-ups also, if they want attention, they do the same thing. When, and if I talk about the strengths of behavior is subtraction to stimulus, means negative reinforcement, like seat belt buzzers. Now what happened, whenever you forgot to put the seat belt, there is a seat belt buzzer there, that which rang, that, okay, you forgot, and you were annoyed with that, okay, I will put that seat belt. Okay, that's, although seat belt is very much required because safety is important, life is very precious, remember that every time you drive, then you must put a seat belt. Now here the task, like sometimes you forgot, you have seen the car locks in today's days. What happening is the car locks, they have with the they have alarms in that set, that if someone has touched your car, then there will be a big voice, your car is making a voice, and then you suddenly get up and you see that, okay, what is happening there, and you will see that. Now that buzzer act as a, you can say that there will be a reinforcement, a reinforcement. Now what type of reinforcement will be there, that okay, I have that person, now if something happening to my car, I will get to know exactly at what time it is happening. I hope this concept is clear with you, that about the reinforcement. Now punishment. Now punishment is what? Antecedent, consequence, effect, behavior, punisher, and deepen the behavior. Now here if I talk about the reinforcement, there is a strengthened behavior, that okay, this thing is happening, I have that seat belt buzzer with me, if I forgot that seat belt, then the buzzer will react. Now every time, to avoid that seat belt buzzer to ring again and again and create a noise in your head, you will just put the seat belt by yourself. Every time you will do it. Now that act as a reinforcer. Now, if you wear a beautiful dress and you got a compliment, then you, it will also strengthen your behavior, that if I will get the good compliment by wearing a dress, I will do that again and again. Now, if I talk about the punishment, there are two types of punishment. One is presentation punishment, second is removal of punishment. Now, if I talk about the type 1 punishment, when effect of consequences decrease or suppress the behavior, presenting adverse stimulus, like you can yell at them, extra work, running laps. Now, I will just take a daily life example. In our classroom also, it sometimes happen, if student done a mistake, what we do, we tell them, okay, write 100 times I am sorry on the note. Sometimes we give them extra work. Sometimes they skip the class. We will say that, okay, you will not go for the sports period. You will complete the task here because you have skipped that class. Sometimes in a physical, if I talk about in the sports, they have a punishment that you will be running a laps, 2 laps, 3 laps, 4 laps, or 400 meter, 500 meters, 600 meter. You will run. This is your punishment. Now, there is another type two, that is called removal punishment, in which it involves removing of pleasant stimulus, taking away the privileges. Now, this is very in our Indian family, this is a very famous one. If you will not study, I will take your mobile phone. I will not give you internet access. If you will be able to, if you are doing smoking or drinking alcohol, then you will be grounded for 2 weeks. No outing, no TV. These things are there. Now, what is happening in type 2 one, there is a removal, that the pleasant thing, which things we like, we will remove it, we will take away that privileges. But in presentation punishment, we introduce the punishment, that okay, if you have done this, I will give you now this punishment. So these types of punishments help us to reduce, or you can say weaken, the behavior which we don't want. And to do that, we give punishment. To strengthen the behavior which we want, we give reinforcement. That is an important aspect of this operant condition theory. Now, positive and negative reinforcement, positive and negative punishment. Now, here is a chart. With the help of it, we will be able to understand that what is happening. Now, there is a behavior. You turn in homework on time. You have done the homework on time. Now, what happened? Positive reinforcement, stimulus, teachers praises you for turning in your homework on time. Now, effect, again, you will do the same thing. Second thing, behavior, you take a aspirin for a headache. You have just had a headache and now you have taken a aspirin. Now what happened? Negative reinforcement will be there. Your headache goes away. It will be there. Effect on behavior, you take aspirin again the next time you have a headache. Now you will say that, okay, if I have a headache, I will take aspirin. I will take aspirin. Now, too much of any of the medicine is not good. Although these medicine help us to relieve from pain, but sometimes these medicine cause us issues also. So only take medicines which are prescribed from the doctors as per your age, that these types of medicines are good for you. This type of medicines help you, that okay, my headache, because these days we have a lifestyle in which we, you know, constantly having this headache issue. So be careful with that, that you should not consume too much of any medicines. Now there is another behavior, you don't clean up your room when your parents ask you to do. This is the common thing which happen, that you don't clean your room, which is a very bad habit. You should clean your room. Positive punishment will be there. Your parents yells at you for not clearing up your room. They are shouting. They will say that, okay, this thing is there. You, why you are not done है? सारा दिन ऐसे बैठे रहते हो. कोई तो काम कर लिया करो. एक ही तो काम होता है. अपना कमरा साफ कर दो. These types of things are there. In Indian family, most of the time it happens that not in the Indian families, in other families as well. So now, what is the effect on behavior? You stop dawdling and clean up your room to avoid being mad about it. Now, what happened? Every time we got scolded for not doing that task, and now it will like feeling annoyed. We feel annoyed that why again and again and again this scolding is there. Let's do the work, finish this, because again and again this thing will be happening. Again, they will yell at me. So this is the positive punishment. Now there is another behavior. You came home 2 hours after curfew. And what happened? You are grounded for 2 weeks. And what is the effect of behavior? You don't come home late. The next time you are allowed to go out with your friends. And what happened? You said that, okay, mom and dad, I'm going to watch the movie, late night movie. And what happened? You didn't turn up your home at time. And due to that, what happened? Parents are angry at you that why you are late, and then they will say that now no more outing, you are grounded for 2 weeks. Now this is your negative punishment. I hope this negative punishment, reinforcement, positive and negative punishment are clear with you. Now different reinforcement schedules lead to different learning and performance too. Now this is very important to understand when to give punishment, when to give reinforcement, because there should be a fixed interval, fixed time ratio to give reinforcement and punishment, because too much of reinforcement will be spoiling the child, spoiling the human behavior, and too much punishment also spoil the human mind. Let us understand with one example, that suppose there are two children, one name is Y, another name is Z. Now what happened? The Y always get the reinforcement whenever he has done a task, right? Every time. Now it will become a habit of him that okay, I am getting this reward every time. Now I will do it for the reward only. I will not do it. If they will simply ask you that, okay, what is my reward if I will completing this task? Now this will be the habit in them. And if I talk about the behavior of Z, another student, now what will happen if we are going to give them the punishment all that time, punishment that you have done this, now there's a punishment. Now he will be thinking, okay, I will get the punishment, let's don't do this, because every time we are getting punishment only. Now we should avoid these types of things, because the reinforcement and punishment should have fixed time period. They should have a schedule, so that the behavior which we want to strengthen can be strengthened, and which the behavior which we want to weaken, it can be weakened. Continuous reinforcement schedule is important. It leads to fastest learning. The biggest problem with continuous reinforcement is that when it ends, extinction occurs rapidly. Now, this is very important aspect, because once you stop giving them reinforcement, they will be not doing the work. They will say that, no, I want reward. Then only I will work. Otherwise, I will not work. There will be extinction. Now, As I have already told you that there should be fixed interval schedules, fixed ratio schedules, variable interval schedules, variable ratio schedules. Now, why these schedules are important? Because if there is a fixed interval schedules means reinforce the first response after a fixed time interval has elapsed. Now, you can give them chocolates weekly if they have done something good. Fixed ratio schedule reinforce a response after fixed number of responses. Okay, if the students have done good in their PT1, okay, you have given them reinforcement, you have given them uh, a small certificate or maybe some praise, reward, stars, whatever you can give them. Now, after that, they have cleared their half yearly exam, PT2, end term exam, you can give them. Now, there is a reinforce a response after fixed number of response, that okay, this response will be there, then only you will get the reward. If you will get the class, you got the first position in your class, then you will award with the trophy. Variable interval schedules reinforce the first response after a variable time interval. Variable ratio schedule reinforce a response after a variable number of responses. Now, these are very important, that there should be a variety and variable. You can give them anytime. You can give them in a fixed interval time as well. You can give them the things in the variable interval time period. Because what happened, uh, I will just take one more example from our daily life. Suppose a Z, student named Z, she's performing so well, but she is demotivated due to a bad experience in one of the exam. Now what happened? She will not be focusing on the final exam. She will say that okay, I'm not good, I am demotivated now, I will not get the good score, now I will not get the trophy, I will not get the medal, and now I'm not able to. This thing happens with the students. Now at that time you can motivate them by giving some reinforcement. Sometimes this variable interval schedules also help us to strengthen the behavior of the student and weaken that demotivation spirit, that okay, don't be demotivated, you can do better. Now, using praise appropriately, it's very important, because you have to be clear and systematic in giving praise. Recognize genuine accomplishments. Set standard based on individual ability. Attribute student success to efforts and ability. Make praise really enforcing. Now, this is very important aspect. You know, sometimes we praise the children for a small thing, and we just say that okay, आपने बहुत अच्छा किया, very good, very good, very good. हर चीज पे very good, हर चीज पे very good, हर चीज पे very good. क्या होता है, वो very good की कीमत चली जाए. It happens with us also. Sometimes अगर किसी के पास आईफोन है और वो आईफोन 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 अगेन 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 अगेन, कई बार इंसान कई चीजों से बोर हो जाता है. वो कहता है कि हाँ यार नहीं, ये तो रोज का ही है. Sometimes individual की ability, that set standards which are required, they should be met, and then only praise should be there. You have to understand that praise is something which only given at that time when students have achieved something. Don't give them when they haven't achieved. Although they have tried, you can praise them. Okay, you have done well, you try to do that, that's good. Praise, acknowledge them, because acknowledgement is something. You have heard of the Naruto Uzumaki, I guess, that famous anime. In that anime, what happened is Naruto's behavior suddenly changed when his sensei Iruka, what he did, he acknowledged him, that okay, my that Naruto Uzumaki is not only the fox demon, he is the ninja of the Leaf Village. Now here he got the acknowledgement which he was looking for his entire from his entire childhood, that I want to acknowledge. For that he has done so many mischief, that but after some time when he got acknowledged from his sensei, what happened, his behavior is modified, and that acknowledgement leads him to be a famous protagonist and a hero of that anime. That okay, everyone wants that we should become a Naruto. We have a willpower like Naruto, Uzumaki, and Nindo. So, shaping of behavior, inculcating good habits, morality, eliminating bad tantrums, habits extinction, follow successive approximation, reinforcement, each sub skills, reinforce improvement in accuracy, reinforce for longer periods of accuracy. Coping undesirable behavior using punishment judicially. Now, this is very important. You should not give them punishment for very, very small thing, because what happens is sometimes we all are human being and we do mistakes. Sometimes we should just tell them that okay, you should not do it again, this is not good. Sometimes it's fine, because every time giving them harsh punishment, it is not good, it affects their mind. Try structuring situations so as to use negative reinforcement in place of punishment. Now this is very important. Instead of punishment, we can use negative reinforcement. We have already studied about the removal punishment and the type 1 presentation punishment. In that also we have talked about that okay, if we have to give them punishment, it should be like okay, I am taking some privilege from them, that is fine, that is really fine. But beating or hitting the child, it's not good. You should not give them this type of punishment, because it we are all are human and we feel bad if someone hit us, so we should not do that. Any type of punishment which is physical punishment, it's not good. Focus on action and not on a personal quality. Encourage positive behavior. Make sure that all get some reinforcement. Establish variety of reinforcement. Enforcers use pre-mac principle, grandma's rule. This is very famous, pre-mac and grandma rule. Now what happened is, you all remember that whenever you don't eat, I have taken this example in my previous videos as well, that whenever you don't want to eat something like some people hate green vegetables like spinach. Everyone hates that I don't want to eat that spinach. Now what happened, well, actually it is good for our health and we don't want to eat it. So what our grandma or mother do, they just say that okay, if you will eat this spinach, I will give you your favorite vanilla ice cream, or maybe strawberry ice cream, or any, okay, we will go to park, or maybe I will giving you chocolate after this. So this type of reinforcement is there, and due to that what happened, eating of the spinach is there, and we ate that spinach, and then we got the reward. Now here, the reinforcement is there, and that enforcement leads us to strengthen our behavior. So, with this, I would like to close my this topic of operant conditioning. I hope you are able to understand that what is operant conditioning and why B.F. Skinner say that reinforcement is important, and more importantly, in the what is the importance of giving positive reinforcement and negative reinforcement. What is the difference between the reinforcement and punishment? Because sometimes we consider the reinforcement is punishment only. No, this is not the way. Punishment is something different, reinforcement is something different. So thank you so much for listening me, and I hope you liked my video, and I'm very glad that you made till end. If you like and have any suggestion, you can comment in the chat box and let me know that this is what you feel after, and there is any change or behavioral modification you there, or any aspect you like about the video, or you want that anything should be added, please let me know. Thank you so much for watching.